up in Baltimore regarding Miss Maryland? Did you have a moment to check that out?
I did. I had a moment to check it about the trans woman winning Miss Baltimore, the Miss Baltimore pageant, Miss
Yeah,
Maryland. I
absolutely.
think it was a Miss
Yeah,
Maryland pageant.
Miss
I
Maryland
did see
pageant.
it. I
So
did see it.
I'm gonna say this right. This right now, this conversation probably isn't going to get us any. It's probably not going to get us liked very much, especially from where I'm going to come from. So I'm just going to put the disclaimer out there. You don't got to agree with what I say. Doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But I'm putting it out there. I really think that is the most disgraceful thing I've ever seen. Like straight up, just no,
Okay.
hands down. Why is a trans woman winning or even competing in a Miss America competition or Miss Maryland, Miss United States, Miss anything that has Miss in it? Why is there a trans gender person competing in that event? I'm sorry. Tell tell
Yeah.
tell me why. Tell me why.
Honestly, I can't tell you. I wish I could. To me, it makes no sense. I mean, what's the point of having categories, right? Of Mr. Olympia, Miss America, Miss Maryland. Like, what is the point of having categories of male and female if people can just jump into that category if they feel like that today? It makes no sense. If you feel like a camel, you can jump in the Mr. Camel competition, right? It's just like it makes no sense to me. I don't understand it. It just
No.
it to me it feels like, and I've said this before talking to people. It really feels like in a lot of situations, it's almost like it's an attack on women. You don't see trans men jumping in boxing competitions with men. You see all these trans women, right?
Mm,
Men who feel like women jumping in these female competitions, whether it's track, these pageants. It feels
facts.
like an assault on women to me. I mean, I'm just being honest with
No, that is a perfect way to put it. Like once again, listen, we're two males, and we are sitting. It sounds like we're the only ones that's willing to step up and say something for the females out there. Because females they are getting stepped on right now. Like you said, how is it that a transgender man can decide that he wants to be a female? All your prerogative, if that's how you feel you want to do. But being able to compete in a woman's sport or a woman's competition, that's drawing a line. Straight up, I just do not think that that should be allowed because you have women who are naturally born beautiful women, and that's what they are and that's what they want to be. They have to now compete against someone who decides that they want to be or identify themselves as a woman this time or this year. Once again, I
you.
don't care what your preference is, gay, the LBGQ community or whatever. I don't have an issue with that. But I have an issue with you competing and taking away slots or positions for women who are actually, that's what that's for them. If you
Yes.
want to compete in we're always about change, you need to create another category. We just need to
Yeah.
create something for them. A trans to allow them to compete against each other, allow them to be in any of the sports that they want to be in, any of these pageants, just anything that they have that we have that is segregated by male and females. We need to just now create a third category. It's just because I think it's just too out of control right now. And I am
I agree. I have to agree. I have to agree with you on this. I know we disagree on a lot of things, but I have to agree with you on this. I don't think it's fair. Like, I don't think it's fair for little girls to, compete and try to be the best, say, for instance, in track and field, or try to be the best in female wrestling or whatever it may be. I say track and field, and they work hard their whole time to be the best in track and field, to
yep.
have then to come to a state championship and have to compete against a damn man who's going to
That's
naturally
exactly what
have
it
the
is.
advantage. That defeats the purpose. That defeats that is demoralizing to me. That's demoralizing to a young woman, whether she's a swimmer or whatever it is, because they had the man, the trans woman or man or
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to call yourself, has a natural advantage.
Physical
Period.
advantage. It's
Natural physical advantage from birth. So it's not
facts.
fair. Like, I can't imagine being a young lady and I go and run the 100 meters, and I worked hard to win it, and then at the state championship, everything I worked for the past 4 years, I get beat by a trans woman and she wins the state title, and I'm second place. How does that
Second
feel?
place.
How
I
does
don't
that feel?
understand. I won't
And
say,
then in some instances, the man that won, the trans woman that won, would have gotten last place if she competed in the male category. It would have been
mm,
last place. That's not fair.
speak about that. It could just be that you, as an athlete, weren't good enough to actually participate in the men's category. And I'm not saying that's the reason you switch genders or that's how you feel. Hey, but you're competing. But if you were with the natural or how you were raised or how you were giving birth, if that's what you were given, and now you decided to change gender and you want to compete, but your numbers wouldn't have been the same. You wouldn't have ran that fastest 100. You wouldn't have swam that fastest, 100-meter breaststroke or that mile. You wouldn't have done that in any other competition with someone of the same gender that you were born. It wouldn't have happened. But
What happened?
what I do see is that women, they are so they're just wonderful because I don't see a lot of them complaining. Honestly, I think inside it may hurt, but they are very gracious in taking these defeats. I would say they're better at that than I am because I don't think that I could be that graceful. They'll support each other, which I just like. Ooh, you much better at
Ye-
that than I am because I don't see a lot of it. Every time I see it,
You don't
all
see it.
they're always yay for women's rights and stuff like that. But to me, and you hit it on a second ago, is that really for women's rights or is it for the transgender rights? Who's winning in this scenario? To me, it seems like it's the transgender who are winning. The women are being replaced. But I mean, you just think about it. Women are literally are basically being replaced and phased out right now in society, and they're just allowing it to happen. And like I say,
Yeah,
you can disagree with me all you want. Say what you have to say in the comments, but look and see what it is, what the facts are right now. It's not a good look.
it's not a
Women,
good look. It's
I'm,
not. It's
I'm,
not. I mean, it's not a good look. And women, thank goodness for women, they're gracious in defeat, right?
mhm.
And one thing is you don't see it happening a lot. Like I said, in male sports and male events, you don't see trans men competing, right? You don't see them looking to go run in a race against another man and get smoked, right? You don't see that. You see this happening more in female athletics. You see trans women wanting to go in the women's bathroom. You don't really see a trans man hearing about them wanting to go into a man's bathroom. It just seems
Yep.
like to me it's an assault more on women. And maybe assault isn't the right word, but it just seems to me this is more directed towards women. Like it's challenging the status quo of being a woman.
Facts.
Didn't mean you're a woman. That's not how you identify as a woman. Well, I would have disagreed with that.
100%.
It,
I would have
you have
disagreed
a
too.
you have a natural advantage against a woman in anything you do as a man, any sport. Maybe not intellectually, and probably not intellectually. More than
Probably
likely
not. No.
not intellectually, but
But we're talking
physically,
physically. Physically, yes,
physically,
it's there.
you
Physically, it's been proven.
absolutely
That's just all it is. It is proven physically. Yes, you have an advantage.
a
Men
advantage.
have the advantage. Like I said, you don't see, and you just hit the key thing on the sports. You don't see a woman who wants to transition to be a man think that she's really going to get into a boxing ring, right?
You
Does she
don't?
want to go really compete with a man? The UFC? Do we really want to see it? You could talk about some of these women, who are strong, nice built and have like kings, I'm sorry, queens of their sports, of top, tier competition. But they
Hmm.
wouldn't want to go one to one or hand to hand on any man. I just don't say it. And if we saw it, we would be like, he shouldn't have beat her like that. He shouldn't have hit her that hard. The narrative would be real different. And how, as a man, how would you feel? You in the ring beating up on a woman just because she's identifies as a man? How would
It
you take
makes
that?
no sense.
It's uncomfortable, and it's really a problem that they're trying to force it on us to be comfortable with it. And I'm just not for it. I just don't agree with it. I don't agree with it.
Yeah,
You should not have it. There should not be a transgender winning any pageant, any competition. They should just go ahead and create their own. And I don't think anyone's going to change my mind. You can say what you want to say in the comments, but you ain't going to change my
yeah,
mind about it. You're not. They should
yeah.
just have their own category because that's where it's come to.
Yeah, I mean, I again, like We disagree on a lot of things. We agree on some things. On this, I'm in agreement with you. I just don't believe it's fair. I don't believe it's just. I don't believe that you can challenge to me what it means to be born a woman and to be born a man. I don't think you can challenge that. I
Nope.
think categories are put into place for a reason. So when you start mixing and mingling things in there like that, then what's the point of having a category?
Yep.
Right? You might as well just say the Maryland pageant. Don't call it the Miss Maryland pageant or the Mr. Maryland pageant. Just call it the Maryland pageant. It doesn't matter anymore.
Doesn't matter
It
at
doesn't
all
matter.
anymore.
Just call it, like I said, the Virginia pageant, the Maryland pageant, the Georgia pageant. And everybody competes against everybody. And whoever comes out on top wins. Because right now
Facts.
it's the categories are pointless.
That's facts. That's facts.
It's facts. They're pointless. Why? Why? Because anybody can identify as anything, so they're pointless.
Yep. Let's have it. That's all
That's
I
how
got
I
to
feel
say
about
about that. So they can holler at us in the comments. You know what? Say what you
it.
got to
Yeah,
say.
holla at us in the
Give it
comments.
love, give us your hate. It don't really matter. But this is what we think about that.